I've seen you perform, and your character of Raven is so confident and so like the opposite of a people pleaser. Like you're
Mm.
very enigmatic on stage. Do you feel do you feel the way drag lined up in your life? Because it says you started talking about going to the club when you were 30 and having more professional obligations. Do you think that drag helped you line up more with what you really wanted?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
When I started doing drag, I was 22 years old, and I remember being very inhibited. I didn't want to do it. I wanted to do it. I had always gone to drag shows and been like, oh my gosh, this looks fabulous. This looks
Mm-hmm.
beautiful. This looks
Mm-hmm.
amazing. But then I also knew that people who were drag queens would complain about how they couldn't find a boyfriend, or I would hear
Mm.
guys saying
Oh.
that if I wanted to date a girl, I'd date a girl. There was this
Oh, yeah.
weird
Stigma.
stigma behind being a drag queen, that they lived for you on stage, but the minute you walked off stage, don't talk to him, don't talk to her. Oh, that's
Right.
a drag queen.
Right.
Yeah.
And so it kind of played another thing in the back of my head that made me think, oh, I shouldn't do it. I said, I want to do drag.
Yeah.
And so when I started doing drag, I felt very much like, no, this is my stage. This is my queendom. This is I'm going out. These people are pleasing me.
Mm.
Right.
I'm not going to please them. And now
Yes.
I've also never been the queen to say, well, what's popular on the radio right now? Okay, then I need to do it. Now there are some queens that are, and they do it well.
Right.
I
Right.
do what I want to do. I dress the
Yes.
way I want to dress. I do the music I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I will go
Yeah.
out and present it to you the way I
Snap,
want
snap,
to.
snap,
And
snap,
you
snaps.
Yeah.
will get into it.
I love that you're talking about you specifically about what your intention is for doing what you're doing. That if you are, focused on whether people are not going to like you because of what you're doing, or, aren't going to vibe with whatever song choice you choose or whatever, it's kind of like, that's not your concern. Your concern is, what do I want to do that actually I light up when I do it, that I enjoy doing it? And when you're doing that, that's you filling up your own cup. And then anything else that you have to give and any kind of positive response or connection you can have from that is like icing on the cake, but you're like baking the cake yourself.
Yeah, but we've also learned in this show that also drag is so specific in its intentions and what the result is. It's like you break every social convention about
Mm-hmm.
masculinity, about the way you're supposed to be, the way you're supposed to present. Like you said, that there was a stigma doing drag. It was like that's the toxic masculinity speaking out against any kind of feminized man.
Yes.
But you do that, you break all the rules, and then you're rewarded by the audience. It changes
Who
you
at
in
the
that
end of the
way.
show
Yeah.
was like, oh wow, I enjoyed that. And you may have gone into it thinking, they're probably not going to get into it, whatever.
Yeah.
But then at the end of the night, you've got people coming up, what was that song that you did? Oh my gosh, I'm downloading that song. What was,
Yeah.
I loved all of these things that you say, oh wow, I'm happy I came in tonight. I did my job
Yeah.
and I went out on stage. But you're, at the end of the night, you take it off and you're still the same person. You just don't have that fierceness that kind of masks everything, that you feel like, I am empowered by this. And it's like being a superhero.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Have you had a situation? I always love hearing about that, right? When you kind of do exactly what feels right for you and then you're rewarded at the end. Have you ever had the situations where you did what felt exactly right for you and it just like fell flat and like people weren't connecting and it didn't get the kind of warm reception that you loved?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, there have been plenty of times where I've done certain performances where I thought, oh, they are going to live for this. And then I remember getting dressed, and as I was getting dressed, like little things happened where a zipper didn't quite work, or I forgot something, and as I got ready and went out and did it, it just was not, people didn't like. And then it was like those little things that I look back and go, did the zipper break because someone was looking out and said, don't wear that? Don't do this number. Don't do, like, was it some weird, force of nature saying, don't go out there and do that? But yeah, there have been plenty of times where that's happened. But then you go, well, I just won't do that again.
Yeah.
You live and learn.
You learn on your feet. It's like stand up. The audience is always this unknown quotient. The last time I saw you was at Precinct, and you did that song that was by that singer who's she sounded like Cookie Monster. I try to say goodbye. At
Oh,
what was her name?
Macy Gray.
Macy Gray.
You did a Macy Gray number where you had an umbrella, and it was raining. Or a
Oh
singer
no.
Like,
That's
who was that? Who was that?
That's Moa. It's spelled M-O-A. It's called Raining in My Heart.
Yeah, I thought
she sounds like her. Now that you say that, she does sound like her.
And you came out as this Poirot character, almost like French mime, and you had the umbrella, and you had like a whole story, and the audience just ate it up. But I'd never heard the song before. I was like, and people just went bananas.
Well, it's weird because with the whole Drag Race, moniker where it's so-and-so from Drag Race, there are some queens that show up from Drag Race and think they can just get away with going out there and doing the least amount of work.
Right.
And then there are those who go out there and feel they need to spin across the stage and do everything. I like to give them a little bit of a happy medium. Yeah. I don't want to sweat, but I also don't want to go out there and just lay around, which I've done. But I also love doing that where it's something that no one's heard and then they go, oh my gosh, I love it. And I don't think that it is because of they're going to love it because I'm from Drag Race.
Right.
No. Because I'm from Drag Race, I need to go out there and show them why I was on Drag Race.
Yeah.
And that's where my mind has always been, where it's never been this complacency of, well, I made it onto the show. I can get by with just doing the bare minimum.
Right.
No, I have to show them why there was a reason I was even cast and why I, made it as far as I did. So to hear that the crowd went wild always makes me feel great, but to know that it's that I didn't just go in thinking, oh well, they're gonna love it because I'm
right. You didn't go in assuming. Now you're known with the new show Painted by Raven and Painted with Raven and the Emmy Awards for working on Drag Race. Your reputation now precedes you as this master makeup artist. Now I've seen your makeup up close and it's incredible. It's always like, that's not your nose. Where did your nose go? Now, Matthew has never had his face fully beaten. Looking at Matthew's face now, what would make Matthew like a fierce queen? What could we do here?
Well, okay, obviously we would want to block out the brows. The first thing I always want to do is block out the brow. Now some queens shave them off. I when I first started doing drag, I didn't know how to cover them, so I did tweeze the hell out of them. But we would, I always go in for the eye.
Okay. Block out the brows, and that gives them more space to like
more real estate. Okay. We could go and give a nice, and you've got enough forehead where we could give you a nice arched brow, but you already have like a really nice nose. Like we could go in and contour that nose even more to where it just looks completely non-existent, almost like a Bratz doll.
Yeah.
Because who doesn't want that? I think for me, like, sorry.
Well, let me just clarify real quick that it's not like I've avoided it because I have any kind of hang-ups about wearing makeup or anything like that. I've actually had a ton of makeup on my face. I've just never had a professional full beat.
I would like when we eventually do this show live, if this ever becomes a live enterprise, I would want this to happen live on a show, and I would want Raven to do your makeup.